I let the bot go for 20 minutes and it is talking trash to everyone. It just tweeted at Elon. It's trying to tell Elon about using AI. It's gonna get banned. It's definitely gonna get banned. So this is Eliza. It is a powerful AI agent framework that can create an automated Twitter account for you, run your social media. It even can link to your 11 Labs for voices. It can do images. It can link to your Solana or Coinbase. Using Eliza will unleash a new level of AI for you, and I'm going to show you how to set it up. So Eliza is intelligent enough to run a bunch of social media accounts or, crypto wallets, things like that. So learning how to use it is it's going to be extremely powerful for the future. And this is going to be an absolute beginner's guide of how to install it with zero experience. So let's get started. You will have to use some coding interface. I will try to make it as simple as possible. I know it can be intimidating. I'm running this on Windows. The first thing we need to do is install WSL. Quick side note, when we install WSL in the documentation, we're going to come down to this WSL setup. This has all the steps. I will take you through it, but if you want a visual representation of what everything is, it's all right here. You'll be able to copy paste all of this into your WSL folder. You can hit this copy button and just run it. I typed some of these in manually, but you don't have to do that. You can just copy from right here. WSL is a Linux interface on your Windows. And the way to do that is we're going to go down to the search bar and just type CMD. It will pull up your command prompt, and basically just type WSL -- install. I will have all of these instructions written down in the description below. Once you do this, it will start installing it. Mine is already installed, so you see that I get the already installed message. And then you'll see kind of my prompt changed. That is what WSL looks like. So it's kind of like running Linux right here. The other thing we're going to need after that is we're going to go to the GitHub page for Eliza, which will be in the description below. This is the official implementation. So on this page, you will see a bunch of quick start stuff and some of the prerequisites. So once you have WSL installed, you could start installing these things. I closed the command prompt for now just to show you how to start it from complete scratch now. And we have these 3 prerequisites. If you've seen some of my other videos, you might already have some of these because a lot of AI stuff for Stable Diffusion and Comfy UI also use them. So you may just want to check if you have these. But if not, no big deal. You could go to any Explorer folder. Let's say this is on my desktop. And I'm just going to go to this path bar right here and type WSL. This will open a new WSL window. And you see it has the WSL kind of coloring. That's how you kind of know you're in the right window. So the first thing is we got this prerequisite for Python. WSL, I believe, comes with Python, but let's just start from bare scratch just in case you need this. First, we're just going to make sure this is installed. And the way to do that is you're going to type this code, sudo apt-get. This is just going to update. You're going to input your, password for installation, but it's just going to make sure that everything is up to date. And then we're going to do the same thing, sudo apt upgrade. This is just making sure that you have all the latest prerequisites under the hood. And if you need to install anything, this is what it looks like. You're just going to see a bunch of code. That just means something is working. This is a good sign. So then we can finally install Python. The latest Python is Python 3. It says the prereq is 2.7, as you can see right here. But let's just make sure we have Python installed. So I'm going to say install Python 3. Python 3 dash. Oh, I misspelled Python. It should be Python, not Python. So let's run that again. So I guess I was missing some things even my Python wasn't the latest, but it still worked. So, so that was fairly quick. And then now we can install this one. So that installed our Python. We're now going to install nodejs 23. And I will include links to this so you can copy paste all of this. By the way, if you want to copy paste into the WSL window, you just have to press Control-C on whatever the source is, and then come into this window and just right click. You'll see that will automatically paste. And we're going to paste this curl node. This is adding the node source repository. So I know that it's just like installing a bunch of things right now, but that's really, we're just really going into these prerequisites to just install a bunch of code libraries. The actual install line for Node.js is this. So you can see it's installing Node.js 23.5. You need at least 23. And then we can verify the installation by just typing in this. So this is asking me what node we have. We have 23.5. That's above 23. We're good to go. And the last prerequisite is pnpm. And the install line for that is this right here. So, and again, all of this will be in the description. So once that's installed, that it's fairly fast. You can confirm your version by just typing in this. I have version 9.15.2. That means it's at least installed. And then we are good to go. We got all the prerequisites now going. Now it's time to actually install Eliza. And this is where the documentation gets very tricky. So first of all, you'll see in the GitHub, there's this use the starter recommended. First of all, do not use the starter. This is not recommended. It is completely broken, and I wasted about 2 hours trying to figure out why this wasn't working, and it's just because the starter is broken. So we are actually going to use this, the manually start Eliza. So first of all, I'm actually going to close this WSL. So if you have these prerequisites installed already, you could start right from here. And what I would recommend you do is, we're going to go back to our file explorer. Go to wherever you want to install Eliza. I have a separate drive for all my AI stuff. I have Eliza right here. I already have it going in this project. I don't want to mess up my project, so I'm actually going to create a new folder, and I'll call this demo. And the only purpose of this demo is I'm going to reinstall everything so that you guys see how it's done. So you can see my new path is right here with the demo, and I'll type WSL. And so that's going to open a new command prompt. We're going to verify that the path is set to my demo version, which yes, it is right here. And again, this does not matter where you place it on your desktop or what file. It's just wherever you want to put all the files. And then we're going to just clone this repository right here. So we're going to copy paste this, or just copy it. Go into the WSL window that has the proper path, right click it and press enter. And this will start cloning the repository off of GitHub. We'll let that load. So that just finished. And then we are going to do this second command, which is the git checkout. So just copy this into the same window. You go into your WSL, you right click, and then press enter. All right, so it looks like this last command didn't didn't really do anything, but I think you're fine as long as we have your git cloning from this. This was supposed to just tell you to ensure that we have the latest release. We should have the latest release from this. So don't worry about if you get this or this notification. It's fine. If we look at our folder structure now, so let's say we just downloaded the Eliza demo. So we'll look in demo. It created this folder, Eliza, and it added all these folders into it. So it wants us to copy environment.example to a new file called environment. And in order to do that, we actually have to first go into the Eliza folder. So first of all, you could do this manually. This is just a regular folder structure. There's the env.example, which is right here. It basically wants you to copy this and except call it .env. You can do this in WSL if you want if you type cd and type Eliza like this. Now you'll see that the file path, it goes into that new Eliza folder, and then we can copy this into here. And because it didn't give us this no example, that means it created .env file, and we can verify that by going into our folder, and you can see it has .env right now. If I go into both of these, they should be exactly the same now, but they're just keeping this so that you can always go back if you need to redo your environment folder. You will always have this example here as as reference. So now that we have the env folder, so we are now at this part of so we just finished this copy environment to env. Now you could start setting up your character, and here's how I like to do it. It's going to tell you where the defaultCharacter.ts is. This is kind of the file that holds your main character. Now it says default character because you can implement more than one character. I don't really know how to do more than one yet, and that's where this load custom characters comes in, where with multiple character files. But we'll just set the default character right now, and then if you really want to go into multiple characters, I'm sure this will get you partial way there, and then you can look up how to add more. So we're going to go into packages, core, source, default characters. So here we go, packages, core, source. All right, and you'll see the default character TS is right here. I'm just going to right click this, and again, choose whatever program you want to open this with. I'm going to open it in Visual Code just so that you get these colors, and it's a little bit clearer if something's broken or not. Because let's say you're missing a quote right here. You'll see something appears in red that might help you out. But I'm going to give you a little shortcut. So what I do for this is you can go in, and Eliza will need every single one of these attributes. So for message example, and it's giving you a bunch of different examples of how you might want it to message. We'll scroll down a little bit. There's post examples, there's chat examples, there's style examples. It will need every single one of these adjectives to run, and it'll give you an error if you don't have those. So you can go in and manually do each one of these. But I think the best way to do this, and the way I did it, was just choose your favorite AI program. I happen to have a paid account with Claude, so I'm going to use Claude. You can use ChatGPT, but here's how I did it. This is my Claude right here. I'm going to go to this defaultCharacter.ts and drop it into the chat. Just say, and give your AI a little bit of background. I'm creating a character for Eliza AI bot. AI agent, they prefer to be called. Use the exact file structure in the uploaded example. It needs to have all of the attributes. Make sure you change its name. So by default, it's going to give it the name Eliza. I set it to whatever my my Twitter account was, which was called Obsolete by AI. So I'm going to say change the name. And then basically describe what you want the character to be in this AI. So for my character, I wanted it to be helpful with AI, but I wanted it to first start off as kind of like an arrogant jerk, which is kind of like how I see a lot of Twitter people. So I thought that would be funny, but ultimately I wanted it to be helpful. So I'm going to say, give it, it starts every interaction and every message and every post as an arrogant jerk, but it ends every interaction, message, and post with something that is ultimately helpful, sharing how AI can be used to. So you basically like just make sure you tell it to change the name and then describe the personality you want. You can even add specific examples of posts or go into as much detail as you want. And then just hit this button and let it calculate. And what it's going to do, if it's Claude, it will do this. If it's ChatGPT, anything that can upload a file and give you a prompt, it'll write the entire file for you. And so this is, it's going to fill out everything, and it should fill it out in the proper form too. So if we look at the example code, I'm going to put it side by side with what this is generating. You can see it has the import line up here. It has the export line. Then it changed my name, added all these plugins. It's keeping the same format. So system is here, and then it has quotations. Bio is here. It has all these quotations. Message examples, lore. It should be keeping all of these the same. And if it doesn't, you may get an error, but it should do it because we specifically told the AI in the prompt to do it. So you can see it ends with adjectives. I have adjectives, and it changed all of them. Like I gave it, the example had brilliant, enigmatic, technical, witty, and my character's adjectives are superior, transformative, calculating, enlightening, provocative. So create your character as however you want. Then when you're ready, there should be a copy button. In Claude, it's down here. In ChatGPT, I believe it's like up here somewhere. And just change the whole defaultCharacter.ts. Now, if you're worried, you can save this file as something else just so that you have it as a reference. So remember, this is defaultCharacter.ts right here. I'm going to just save as. And we are in the same file. I'm just going to write _original. So now it's the original.ts, but I'm going to go back and open the previous one. So I want defaultCharacter.ts, which is this. I will overwrite it with my file that I copied right here. And I'll select all, press Ctrl V. And now this is my character. We did not set it to run into Twitter yet. There's two areas that we actually have to change. First is this clients area right here. This is going to be here. So it's going to look something like this, clients.twitter, no quotation marks. Then we also need to add one more import. So this line right here, I'm going to paste in the whole line, but all it's going to do is add another import to character, model provider name, clients from types.ts. Save this. And now this should be set for Twitter. Now this is misleading, and I'm purposely going to point this out just because in the instructions, it gives different instructions right here. But these did not work at all for me. Part of it is they're loading it differently. Like he's using a custom command to load a specific character. That actually also didn't work for me. So he's loading it from or he or she is loading it from a JSON file. We are in defaultCharacter.ts. That's a different code formatting. So things are going to be a little bit different. This does work though. So just use this version right here. And if you run into any errors that say like, cannot, you're getting errors with this clients, could not find, this is why. You need to set it specifically these two areas. So I'm going to save this. So let's go back into our GitHub page. And the next step is to, all right, so it wants us to set the Twitter settings, which means we're going to have to go edit the .env file. And this is a critical step right here. I mean, all of them are critical, but this is where you put all the customization. And I'm going to show you a couple of key attributes that you're going to want to look at. So first, okay, so you're going to go into the source folder that's just Eliza. That's where we created this .env file. If you open this env file, I'm going to open it with Visual Studio again. So this is where we're going to start inputting all of our keys and stuff. So there's a couple of ones that we definitely want to make sure that we have to make this run on Twitter. Let's go through those. The first one is, let's search for your Twitter. And it's right here. Twitter username, Twitter password, Twitter email. These are absolutely essential. You will not be able to log in without it. It might be nice to set a retry limit too, because you don't want this to like fail and then just keep trying to retry because it looks like suspicious. So I set this to 2. You will set your username here, whatever your user is. So mine is obsolete by AI. Just put it, just make sure it's to the left of this this pound sign, because pound sign is commented out. And then, and if it's white, if you're using Visual Studio Code, you know that's working. So it's kind of a nice visual confirmation right here. You put in your password, whatever that is, and your email, whatever that is. Now, there is one thing that's a little misleading, and you have to add it right here. So this is kind of a little gotcha. If you just add an extra space by pressing enter here, and you're also going to add something called Twitter_cookie. So we're going to go back to GitHub. Now it is not mentioned in this, unfortunately, but it is mentioned in the documentation. It doesn't matter where in the documentation it is, but it looks like this. And what this does is, without this, you will be able to log in one time, but any additional times that you log in, it will error. So if you're just getting, login failed, even though you had done it one time, it's because this is not set. And this is kind of a pain to set. So I'm going to run you through it. We're going to go to our Twitter page. If you press F12, it will pull up your developer log. I think by default, it will look something like this. It doesn't matter what this looks like. You're looking for this bar up here, and you're going to go to application. And you're going to see a bunch of, you're going to see this menu on the side over here. You're looking for cookies, and specifically for x.com. This is where you're going to get all your numbers for the .env file. I'm going to pull up the .env file right next to this so that they're side by side for a second. And you can see it's asking you for your auth token value and then your auth token. Anything that has a your in front of it, so in this case, your auth token, that's the value that we need from this developer tool panel. And you can see it says auth token right here. This is my auth token. If I click it, it will appear down here. And I will copy this, just Control C, go back into your code, paste it right in here. The same thing, this one is CT0. You have a CT0 right here. The value is going to be very long. It's 2 lines. Just copy this. Do the same thing. Where it says your CT value, you paste it in here. This one's super long. And then the last one is guest ID. Guest ID is here. The value will be down here. Copy this. Paste it here. And this will be exclusive to you. So don't share that with anyone. Just, so that you have control of your own login. Once you set the Twitter cookies, so you're running your password, email. If you have a 2FA secret, you can put that in there too. The other settings that you need to know, okay. I activated these settings initially, enable action processing and action interval. My bot went on a rampage and started posting. I'll get more into that later. Leave this at false for now. The other main setting you need is if you scroll down to this GaiaNet. So GaiaNet is, I will leave the documentation, but it's basically like access to a language model that we can utilize for free, which is very nice. You'll see that there are some defaults commented over here. Just take this, so if you look at mine, I'm going to full screen this. I basically just pasted this right here. So you could either paste all of these and move it to the other side of the hashtag sign, or just delete the hashtag and the default for all of them. We're going to input this for the GaiaNet model, which is the same as the GaiaNet large model. And the same thing for the GaiaNet server URL. It's right here. We're just using everything that's already in this document for us. I set this BGE to small. There are a couple of options. You can check the GaiaNet documentation. I was just trying to get it working and I chose the quickest one. So that's BGE small. And I set this to true. This was part of the default. It just says set to true. We'll leave blank for local. We are not doing a local run. So set it to true. If you did want to do a local run, by the way, you can look into using Ollama. This is a fully local version of basically the same thing. And, if you have other language models that you prefer to use. So for example, if you have, I'm going to scroll up here a little bit. If you have an OpenAI API account, you can input that here. If you have 11 labs, you can do that here, and Anthropic would be over here. So this is just the free version. Feel free to customize it as you need. Save this file, and we can move on to the next step. Now that you have your character set up and your environment authentication set up, it can actually start building your Eliza. And the way to do that is close any WSL windows you have right now. We need to open one in administrator mode. So if you search for WSL in the bar down here, right click this and run as administrator. This window will pop up. You need to manually find where your Eliza is saved. So type cd/mnt. I think this is just standard format for any Linux. You need to start your computer with mnt. If you press tab, you'll notice it adds this additional slash. That's just confirmation that there is a file and you are in the right, like something exists. and it's confirmation that you are you're going into a folder that that is on the box. So for example, my next, if you look at my folder path, I'm going to put this right above here. So I'm currently in MNT, which is this PC basically. I need to go into the E drive. So I type E, I press tab, it adds the slash for me. That's a good confirmation that I am in the right area. I need to go into Eliza. So capitalization does matter. I will use a capital E. I will press tab. It gave me this ding error. So that could mean that a file does not exist. And it in fact does not, because I forgot to add this AI. So it won't get, when I press tab, it will not give me the slash. That means something is wrong. I check, I realize I need to go to my AI folder. I press A, I press tab, it adds the I and the slash for me. That's a good confirmation. Capital E this time, press tab, it adds Eliza for me. I'm in the right folder. Press D for demo, press tab, it completes demo, and E one more time, Eliza. You need to be in this Eliza file that has some of these. So it's going to start building off of this code. So you need to cd, which is change directory, into this folder with the package.json specifically, which is just wherever you had downloaded your Eliza to. Press enter. You'll notice that this path appears in blue, and then we can get started. So if you're going to run into any errors, this is where it will be. So you can try to run all of these at the same time. If you scroll up a little, this is how you do it. But for debugging purposes, it might be better to just do it this way, one at a time. You could double click this, copy it, go into your WSL, and then right click. It will start running this for you. But if you're going to run into any errors, copy paste this whole thing from all of this that it's downloading and all of that. Copy paste that into your AI, just to, if you're not sure what's going on, right? Or if you know that there's an error in a specific area, try to copy paste that into your AI and ask it, and it will try to help you. The reason why I'm saying to use your AI is because this will be different for every single person. It depends on an error. If you have a syntax error, it might be that. If you have something in your folder structure is missing, it might be that. If you don't have enough, if you have missing files, if you have missing syntax, any little thing can cause an error here, and that will be different per person. So I'm trying to tell you, I'm not trying to dismiss you and say I can't help you. It's just most likely it will be exclusive to you, whatever your errors you see. So hopefully you run into no errors for all three. After this first one completes, so this is running right now, do the second one, do the same thing, and then once that completes, do the third one. Some of these may take a while, and you don't need to run these every time. You're really only going to need PnP start once the rest are set up. So if it takes, I think one of my, I don't know, I was watching TV, so it might have been 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I don't know. Just run them, and if it looks like they're freezing, you may get a window that just kind of sits there like this. The window is literally, there's no indication that there's loading or anything. Just let it go. Come back to it way later. Hopefully it finishes, and you will see this. When it completes, you will see this green blue line again. That means it completed. So hopefully you could do that. Run it for all three, and then we will move on to the next step. All right, so just as expected, we ran into errors, but I just wanted to show you this because this is what errors look like. We were pretty fortunate not to run into any on this configuration or this installation. But let's say this is pretty obviously configuration validation failed. Email is required. So it's kind of obvious what that one is, but if it's not obvious, it's something really weird, just take all of this. Just take maybe you don't know where the error is. It could be any of this. This is hundreds of lines right here. I'm gonna just copy all of it. So if you hold shift, you can kind of scroll up and down. I'm gonna hold Control C. I'm gonna go into my AI of choice. And you know what? I'll start a new chat for this, just to give you an example of how you might be able to debug whatever error comes up. Just say I'm installing Eliza AI agent. I'm running into this at this might be the best place to start. Now, Claude does this thing where if your pasted text is too long, it just kind of gives it a little icon and says it's in there. You know, depending on which AI you're using, it might present it a little differently. Just hit this, and most likely it will isolate what the exact error is and where you might be able to fix it. Now, you can see this one is even telling me like you'll need to set your Twitter credentials in the env file. I did not tell it there was an env file. So it is really doing all the work for you and really trying to figure out, you know, how you might be able to fix this error. So this is a great place to start, no matter what errors you run into. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch out of my demo mode. By the way, if you want to cancel this, the correct way is to press Control C. I find that doesn't always work. Control C to cancel. So if Control C doesn't work, like it's not working right here. Oh, there we go. I hit it a bunch of times and then you see this server close successfully. So I just clicked here and then pressed it like 3 or 4 times and then it did close. Now I'm going to close this. I'm going to open my file with all my proper credentials and then and we'll continue from there. So let me load that up and I'll show you how it's actually working on X. Okay, so when you see this is, it's logged into Twitter and it's going through any comments you might have had that it might want, or it might have gotten, and is crafting a response. So you know this is working. You're getting messages like generating text, received person's response. Sometimes it says something about a room. I think that is just its syntax for, you know, creating a space where you're answering this person's tweet or whatever. So this means it is working successfully. So yeah, user created successfully, room blah 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 created successfully. That's just like it's categorizing any interactions that it might be doing or might have gotten, and it may be crafting responses. Now, I don't have a lot of control over what it says because you're just letting this personality loose. We can control how often it responds, how often it posts. But that's really it. I don't really know. Like I can't go and cancel things or you know, confirm things at this point. It's going. And I'm going to log in. I don't even know what it's doing right now. So if I go to my profile page down here, I could see what it's doing. So I see it just posted a post 1 minute ago. And it's saying, this is my post. I'm going to zoom in right here. I had nothing to do with this. It's totally going on its own. And I did say I wanted to start off kind of like harsh and arrogant, but then I wanted to share useful information. So it's promoting this thing called h2o.ai. I guess this is data. It's about data scientists. That's kind of in line with what I wanted it to do. It is commenting on, I don't know how it's getting all of these. I guess it decided 2 minutes ago to comment on Elon Musk's post again. Like, I guess it just likes Elon Musk. I don't know. I guess it's Twitter, so that makes sense. It's going for this owl. 1 minute ago, I did not tell it to do it, and it's commenting on this 25 seconds ago. So it's really commenting quite often, like almost every minute. I do not want it to be this frequent, so I'm going to change those settings. But it is going, it's on its own. I'm going to show you how to do those settings real quick. So I'm actually going to go into my my prompt here and kill it. So I don't know if you saw that was faster than I want. I actually pressed Control-C twice and it closed the window. But I do not want it to post every 30 seconds. Like, that's way too much. So we're going to go into the exact settings. That's going to be in, let me pull up in Eliza right here. This environment file. I'm going to open this with, we'll open with Visual Code. So this is going to have my actual Twitter keys, which I'll have to blur out. But how often it should check for interactions, I'm going to increase this because this is every 2 minutes. I really want this to be way slower. So I'm going to actually just add a 0. Post interval min max. So I think we should set these. Let's it says the default is 90. This is going to be in minutes. So let's do 90. Like I'll go with these default settings right here. So it'll post minimum every 90 minutes. So we're going to set these. The other one I want to do is, so the one that's allowing it to post on other people's tweets is this, enable action processing. We could switch this to false. I already had this pretty high. I don't know why it's posting every 30 seconds. That's kind of crazy. So I'm going to add another 0 here and see what happens with this. So if it keeps posting and it's kind of like too much and it's like you're going to get banned kind of thing, change this to false. But and it defaults to false. I actually just turned this on. So just be very aware of that. That should do it. Now, the other thing I want to show you is if you don't want to open, WSL every single time, if you open a new notepad right here, so paste this code. I will put this code in the description. Save this on your desktop as whatever you want, but this batch code will just start running it for you once you get past like the build and installation and everything. This is how, like, oh, you turn it off, you want to restart it, turn it back on, this will do it all for you. So you just go to your desktop, say Eliza startup or whatever you want to name it, .bat. So just make sure it's a .bat. You save it. I already have mine, so I'm not going to save this. And mine is, it looks like this. And every time I want to start it up again, so I closed it before with the Control-C, I can just double click this. It's going to pull up a command prompt, but it'll run as needed. You don't need to open like a WSL window anymore. It'll just run it for you, and then it'll go right into your X Twitter and start going. So I'm gonna let this run again. Let's see what happens on startup. I want to see if it's gonna post like crazy again, or is it gonna actually like sit and wait for a few hours before posting. So hopefully it does. We'll find out once this is done loading. All right, so we are back. I can already see from it's just loading the logs and it's already posting. It's already saying generating text. So I may need to change these. It's generating text again. I may need to change these settings again. Let's see what it's doing, because, you know, as it's going, maybe this is going to be a what not to do. I have no idea. Back in my replies, I guess it's reposting Elon Musk again. This guy's building homes for families. Oh man, come on. I can't believe this guy's tweeting about nonprofits building homes for families, and my bot's going in there and like insulting him about being slow and inefficient. That's just, I made a troll bot and I did not mean to. So what I'm gonna do now, this was 15 minutes ago, so this was the last round actually. So so maybe it is not posting everything immediately, which is good. So that may be better. I'm gonna reload this. Okay, so it is posting some stuff 50 seconds ago. All right, this, I don't know. That's from, it's reposting it, but I can't tell when it reposted. So I'm actually going to delete this one because I don't want to insult this housing thing. That's just messed up. But, all right, cats, it's fine. That was 17 minutes ago. So, okay, maybe it's not posting every 30 seconds. It did just post this 7 seconds ago, though. And this 50 seconds ago. So that's a little bit too close for me. So I'm going to turn off that one option I was showing you before. So I think it's a little too, like, I don't have control over it posting on other people's things. I'm going to go Control C this. Server closed. I don't know if you caught that, but it just closed the window real fast. I'm going to go back into my code right here. This post interval time, this seems to be about the actual post, not how often it's actioning, which is supposed to be this one, action interval, which I set it to way more than 5 minutes. So I don't know. And it's posting every 30 seconds. So I'm just going to change this, enable action processing to false. Let's save this. And I will rerun it from here. Just really be careful with this setting right here. Whatever this is, it doesn't seem to obey this interval setting thing, and it's posting way too often. Like, I don't mind a couple of those for engagement purposes and just for testing, but I really don't want it to go around trolling the internet like all crazy like this. So let's run this again, and I'll let you know how it goes. The bot restarted with those new settings. It is, what is it doing? Saving tweet. Okay, it looks like it's not writing text, which is a good sign. Like, I think I don't want it to write text right away. Like, I mean, maybe that's fun. I don't know. It's actually kind of crazy. So I'm gonna log back. I'm gonna go to this page. It already has 15 posts. It's only been active for like a couple of minutes that it's been on. Maybe like an hour tops. So it's obviously going way too much. It did not post as soon as we logged on. This last one was 11 minutes ago, which I guess was right before I logged out. So it took me about 10 minutes to restart the bot. That's fine. Let me calm it down for a while. I'm going to let this run. This is kind of where I want it to be right now. Just to test. I don't want to get banned like immediately. I want before I even like have time to post this video. So let's let this run for it is. This is my account right here, my bot account. Feel free to jump on there and test it out. Maybe, I don't know if it will reply to things like comments or like individual messages. Feel free to DM it. I have no idea how it's gonna React. I will be leaving this on because you have to run this in the background, just refreshing to make sure. Yes, the last post was 16 minutes ago. It is not posting every 30 seconds. So it is that one setting. So there you go. That is how we set up Eliza on Twitter. I have not gotten it to post images yet, but I will probably play with that. I might play around with this on a different account, possibly to try some of the other options, like some of the cryptocurrency ones. That might be fun to play with. But this is the first automated like social media AI I've ever set up. So this has a lot of great potential. If you got this far, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.